You have a clock inside you. A real one, physical, ticking away in a cluster of cells behind your eyes. It is older than agriculture, it is older than language, and it is currently set to a world that no longer exists. That's what this is about. Not why you sleep. Everyone knows why you sleep. This is about why you are tired at exactly the wrong times. Why you can't fall asleep when you're supposed to, can't wake up when you're told to, and feel like garbage at 3 in the afternoon for no reason at all. None of that is a personal failing. It is a clock doing its job perfectly in the wrong century. Let's start with the clock itself, because most people don't know they have one. Deep in your brain, right above where your optic nerves cross, there's a tiny cluster of about 20,000 cells. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and it is a clock. Not a metaphor for a clock, an actual timekeeper, running a cycle that lasts a little over 24 hours, whether you like it or not. We know it's real because of a man who spent months underground. In 1962, a researcher named Michel Siffre went to live in a cave with no clock, no sunlight, no way to tell what time it was. He thought he'd lasted about 3 weeks less than he actually had. His mind had lost track completely, but his body hadn't. Down there in the dark, with no information at all, he kept falling asleep and waking up on a steady, regular cycle, just under 25 hours long. That's the key detail, and it's a strange one. Your internal clock does not run on 24 hours. Left alone, it runs slow, a bit long, which means every single day your body has to be nudged back into line with the actual planet. And there is exactly one thing that does the nudging: light. Every morning, light hits the back of your eyes, and a signal runs straight to that little clock and resets it. Morning light says, "It's day. The cycle starts now." This is how a 25-hour body stays glued to a 24-hour world. For hundreds of thousands of years, it worked flawlessly because there was only one source of bright light, and it was extremely reliable, and it was the sun. Then we built our own suns. And this is where everything falls apart. Here's the problem in one sentence. Your clock reads light as time, and now there is light everywhere, at all hours, saying all the wrong things. The clock can't tell the difference between the sun and the ceiling. It never had to. For its entire evolutionary history, bright light meant one thing: daytime, because there was no other bright light. So when you sit under electric bulbs at 11 at night, some ancient part of you receives a very clear message. The sun is still up. It is still daytime. Do not release the hormone that makes you sleepy. That hormone is melatonin, and it's basically your body's signal for night has begun. In natural conditions, it starts rising as the light fades in the evening, and it's the thing that makes you drowsy. But it only rises in darkness. Keep the lights on, and you're telling your body it's noon. And the screen you're reading this on is worse than the ceiling, because it's close to your face, and because it's rich in exactly the kind of blue light the sun puts out at midday. You are, as far as your clock is concerned, holding a tiny sunrise a few inches from your eyes, and then wondering why you can't sleep. So that's the first mismatch. Artificial light convinces an ancient clock that the day never ends. But there's a second one, and it's crueler, because it makes us punish people for something they physically cannot control. Not everyone's clock is set to the same time, and the group that suffers most for it is teenagers. During puberty, the internal clock shifts. It runs late. This is not laziness, it is not attitude, it is not bad parenting. It is measurable biology. A teenager's melatonin starts rising 2 to 3 hours later than an adult's, which means their body genuinely cannot fall asleep at 10 p.m. Telling a 15-year-old to sleep at 10 is, biologically, about like telling an adult to fall asleep at 7 in the evening. The signal to sleep simply hasn't arrived yet. And then, in most of the world, we wake those same teenagers up at 6 or 7 in the morning and send them to school, which lands for them in the deepest, most disorienting part of their biological night. We are systematically waking millions of young people during the hours their bodies are least able to function, and then calling them lazy for struggling. When schools have actually tested starting later, the results are not subtle. Attendance goes up, grades go up. Car crashes among teenage drivers go down.
The kids weren't the problem.
The clock was, and nobody was reading it. Now, the mismatch isn't only about the time of day, it's also about the shape of the night itself. You probably think of sleep as one solid block. 8 hours, lights out, one continuous stretch. That's the modern ideal, and there's decent evidence it isn't how humans slept for most of history. Before artificial light, when the night was simply long and dark, and there was nothing to do in it, historical records describe something different. People went to sleep not long after dark. They slept for a few hours. Then they woke, on purpose, calmly, in the middle of the night, and stayed awake for an hour or two. They'd pray, talk, tend the fire, be with each other, and then they went back down for a second sleep until morning. It even had a name: first sleep and second sleep. Here's why that matters to you, right now. If you wake at 3 in the morning and lie there, heart sinking, certain that something is wrong with you, it's worth knowing that a quiet, wakeful window in the middle of the night may not be a malfunction at all. For a lot of human history, it was just part of the night. The panic you feel about it is arguably doing you more harm than the waking ever could. So, the obvious question: if the clock is so out of step with the modern world, why hasn't evolution fixed it? Why are we still running 25-hour hardware in a 24-hour electrically lit, jet-traveling world? And the answer is the same as it always is on this channel, and it's almost funny how consistent it is. The world changed in about 100 years. The electric light bulb is roughly 140 years old. Widespread screens are about 20. Air travel across time zones is a handful of decades. Evolution does not work on those timescales. It works on tens of thousands of years at least.
Your clock is not broken.
It was calibrated with extraordinary precision for a world lit by one sun and one fire. It is doing that job right now, tonight, exactly as designed. It's just that we changed the world underneath it, faster than a body could ever be redrawn, and we haven't told the clock. It has no idea the sun got replaced. It's still watching the light, still doing the math, still trying to keep you in time with a planet we paved over. Before we finish, one honest note, because sleep is not only biology, and this channel doesn't pretend otherwise, everything here explains the ordinary stuff. Why you're groggy at your desk, why your teenager can't get up, why the 3 a.m. waking isn't the disaster it feels like. But if you genuinely can't sleep, night after night, if it's grinding down your days and you dread the bed itself, that is not something a video about caves and light bulbs can fix, and it isn't a thing to just push through.
Insomnia is real.
And it's treatable, and the people who treat it do it for a living. Knowing why the clock drifts is interesting. It is not the same as getting help, and if you need the help, get it. But if you're just tired at the wrong times, if you can't sleep when you're told and can't wake when you should, and feel a little broken by all of it, then here's the thing to take with you. You are not lazy. You are not undisciplined. You are keeping perfect time. Just not for this world. Not for this century. Your clock is not broken. You are unfinished.